Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Bix Weir, road to ROOTA.com. A few technical issues this morning, but we're back on track. I do want to tell private road members that I posted a silver gold ratio about to break discussion yesterday. And it looks like something is actually happening. We have silver up 2.2%. Oh, well, gold just jumped back up. Never mind. But we do have something really exciting happening in silver if you believe in the technicals. Look at that. We have the 100-day moving average being breached to the upside. As you remember, throughout history of the moving averages, the big bank criminal riggers used the 100 and 200-day moving averages to get the tech funds to either go long, short, or indifferent. As this goes above the 100-day moving average, we will have a whole bunch of tech buyers, as required by their very rigid methodology of buying above the 200-day moving average and shorting below buying above the 100-day moving average, shorting below the 200-day moving average, whichever is bigger at the moment. And that's how they fleece all the silver investors. I did check on India. The India imports last month were so-so. Again, as you can see, India only buys when the moving averages are breached. They got close right here, but they don't really buy. Last time they bought big was right down here where the moving averages were breached, the 200-day and the 100-day, and they bought, I think it was 130 million ounces of silver in like 3 months. Massive. And that's all because these moving averages were breached. And going back into last year, India's bought massive amounts. They don't buy up here. They really don't. So the last time they bought big numbers was February, and now we're into August, and it was headed towards, had it breached that, the big commercial traders know that India would load up with 50 or 100 more million ounces, and they just don't have it. So now they're letting it run higher. This will be interesting because now we've hit the point where the tech traders, if it continues up above this moving average, right now the moving average is right here, 28.93. So we are above it. If it holds for a bit above it, we're at 28.98. We're going to see a run up because all the tech funds are going to have to go long because that's the way they trade. And then the commercials are going to go short because for every long you have to have a short. It is the same game that's been going on forever. No, one day it won't work. So you don't want to be around during that day on either side. That's why my big suggestion, I highly suggest, get your silver in your own possession, stay out of the game, stay out of their rigged system. Just do it. But this is good for the longs. We should have a little run up at some point. See what happened here when it crossed over those moving averages. Bang, it went up for, 6-7 months. The run up was above 30. If we go above 32, 33, we could see a real exciting run. I don't know. The game is trading a little different these days because they're running out of physical. And if they slam it below the moving averages, boom, all the physical, all the rest of the physical on the planet will go to India and China. It kind of is anyway, but the reality is that, and the record shows that India only buys in mass quantities of silver when it's below the moving averages. It got close right in here, but it did not break the 200-day moving average. Now it's about to break. It just broke through the 100-day. So we'll see how long that lasts. As you can see, there's some fake breakouts happen and all that. The game continues. Really interesting article. United States Mint sourced non-American gold for decades. Misled customers and auditors. A Treasury investigation shows. For decades, the United States Mint did not obtain or even request any documentation confirming the origins of the gold they sourced from suppliers and refiners, all while promoting their most popular coins as minted from 100% newly mined American gold, according to a recent report from the Treasury's Investigatory Auditing Office. Why didn't they just look at the Road to ROOTA documents, posts, videos going back since the early 2000s? I've been saying the exact same thing. The Mint is breaking the law. The Mint is breaking the law. How many times do we have to tell these idiots in Congress? Or why now? That's a better question. Of course they know what's happening. Of course Janet Yellen knows what's happening. Of course Ventures Gibson knows what's happening. Of course Biden used to know what's happening. Kamala, who knows? But yes, the U.S. Mint is breaking the law every single day. As a matter of fact, here's a great one. I'm going to let you listen to the very beginning. Oh, that's the audit, by the way. The very beginning of my discussion, when I called the U.S. Mint, I called the helpline. They answered. They couldn't answer my questions about making Silver Eagles to meet demand, so they gave me to the head of Silver Eagle sales, a guy named Jack Sermon. Great discussion here. But he admits exactly what it took 20 years for the auditor of the Treasury to find out, that they're lying, cheating, and stealing. And he even talks about gold. Listen to this. This is part 2 on sourcing silver blanks, and he gets into gold blanks. Listen to this.
The Mint.
And you can imagine someone like me, that came here 35 years ago, came from the financial industry, and brought this program from zero awareness to the number 1 traded bullion coin in the world, to seeing what's happened to it now after 35 years. You can imagine. I can't. It's hard for me to witness what's happened, and I got to tell you, I don't see any remedy in sight, and that's what's sad, because the Mint's procurement office is simply unable to find another supplier, and Sunshine's the only one. And like you say, Sunshine's making them for a lot of other people.
But that's the key also.
And how much does Sunshine make on the Mint compared to how much it makes for other people? Well, so you can bet they're taking a look at their contracts with their other customers, probably saying, well, why should I make more for the Mint? I make a lot more selling them to Canada, right, or to these other private companies.
That's what Tim Power said. I did an interview with him. That's what he said. But I pointed out that the U.S. Mint is the only mint on the planet that is legislated to buy silver blanks at any value, at any amount, to meet public demand. And I've been through the law on this. I've looked it up.
And to that point, the Mint does procure some of its gold bullion blanks and all of its platinum bullion blanks. It procures all of that from overseas suppliers.
The gold? They're not legally allowed to do that. Only silver.
No, they can procure gold from overseas suppliers. I know you're going to say, well, the legislation says it has to be domestically mined gold from the GATT countries. And you know what? You can write your representative.
Yeah, that goes far.
And you can ask these questions, and they'll probably kind of at some point in time end up on my desk. But we get all of our platinum from a company called MKS or PAMP. You may have heard of.
Yeah, I know PAMP.
PAMP gold bars. They're in Lugano in Switzerland. Yeah. We get all our platinum there, and we get our 24 karat gold blanks from PAMP, and we also do business with the Perth Mint in Australia.
Right. So why not silver though? Why not?
Let me finish. Silver? So since the Mint is unable to source additional Silver Eagle blanks or 3/9 fine blanks that meet the Mint spec, that's another issue. Then it can go abroad, and I dare say they are likely looking at that option. But anything you get from abroad is going to be a hell of a lot more expensive than what you get from Sunshine.
But it's a pass-through cost. According to the legislation, any cost you guys incur is passed through. You change you just charge more.
Yeah, and more importantly, whatever we get from overseas, we can just use for the Mint's numismatic programs, because those numismatic programs have huge premiums on them, so they can absorb added cost. The bullion program cannot. So even if whatever coin blanks we could get overseas were used for the numismatic silver programs, then all that silver that we're getting from Sunshine that goes to the silver numismatic programs, that would all now be freed up for the bullion program.
But the bullion program, it can absorb any price by law. Right now it could absorb what, $15, at least $10 of the $15 premium, if it.
Yes.
But it's not a money making.
Yes, that's true.
The bulk program is not supposed to be money making.
All that's required, legislatively, is that the program not operate at any net cost to the taxpayer.
Right.
So you're right. If it costs me $5 an ounce premium to get blanks, then I'll charge $5 plus something.
Right.
But it won't make me competitive in the marketplace when I've got other sovereign mints selling basically the same commodity product. It's all an ounce of silver, 3/9 fine silver. It'll make the Silver Eagle much less competitive.
But I don't think that's a problem, and I'll tell you why. Because right now, the only reason people aren't, and they still are buying Silver Eagles at $15 over, but the only reason they're not buying is that the quantity is not being supplied in the same quantities as other sovereign mints, and of course you're not going to have great numbers this year because you didn't even give us an opportunity to buy them. Really,
we didn't make them. An internal management decision was made not to make them.
Right, and so
and believe me, they came to me because I was a primary dealer. I ran a primary dealer trading desk before I came to the mint, so I know how this works.
Right,
and so they came to me and said, basically, what can we get away with that's palatable?
Yeah, but why did they want to?
If demand's north of 30 million, and you only decide, they want to know, well, what number can we make? Well, we're not going to get phone calls and letters from congressional.
Right. But why would they want that? Wouldn't they want the program to do well?
Look, if you're running a business, and
I'll let you guys listen to the rest. This is a 3-part interview. What Jack Sermon, the head of Silver Eagle sales for the U.S. Mint, just described is completely illegal. And we've known it for so long. And this was a couple of years ago when we had $15 premiums on Silver Eagles. That's illegal. You can't go to the manufacturer within your mint department or the sales guy and say, how much can we get away with not making without causing a ruckus? And that is the Biden administration. Ventris Gibson, the head of the U.S. Mint right now, apparently was instructed by somebody within Treasury, because she didn't come up with this herself. She's an HR professional. She has no idea how a mint works, much less how to run a mint, or should she be the mint director, which she is right now. She went to the head of Silver Eagle Sales, who's required by law. She's asking him to break the law and tell him that we are not going to supply Silver Eagles to meet demand. As a matter of fact, we're going to do almost nothing, only as much as we have to do without getting, thrown in jail or run up the flagpole, whatever you want to call it. That is fraud. That's illegal. That's America now, and it's very, very, very sad. The U.S. Mint used to be the greatest mint on the planet for over 100 years, and they have destroyed their reputation in a single administration. This should not be allowed to happen, and it took the auditor for the U.S. Mint, 20 years to figure out I told everybody a couple days ago, or a couple years ago, that they're breaking the law. I started talking about this back in the early 2000s. When the mint director was Moy, whatever his first, I forgot his first name. It was obvious to everybody who had any kind of recollection or could read a law that says the U.S. Mint is required by law to create coins to meet public demand. Whether or not it's the Treasury Secretary who makes that final decision, or if it's the market, or if it's the head of the mint, doesn't matter. The law is the law. You have to make coins to meet public demand, and they are choosing not to. They are choosing to do the opposite, and you just heard the head of Silver Eagle Sales, Jack Sermon, say exactly that. They told me not to follow the law. They told me to break the law. I hope that sinks into everybody. That's what we're dealing with. Anyway, that's what I got for you. You want more info, go to roadrooter.com. Get your behind-the-scenes stuff. Subscribe today. We're currently giving away 10 Theta, 100 Theta Fuel, and 1,000 T-Drop. When is it going to... Crypto is going to run again? It could be any second, could be any day. A lot of manipulation, even more than in silver, is in crypto. Just remember that. Up and down, by the way. Keep an eye on Binance. They love to run things and sell off at the tops, and they control a hell of a lot of stuff. But, yeah, T-Fuel, I think, is the buy over Theta at the moment because it's over. It's kind of like silver and gold. The silver-gold ratio is like 88 to 1. Very rarely is it above 80 when you look at the historical gold-silver ratio. Very rarely. And it's ridiculous with the amount of gold and silver. I think, truthfully, I think there's about 2 to 3 billion ounces left in silver. There's 6 billion ounces in gold or so. But only 2 to 3 billion left before they're all gone and they're thrown into flat screen TVs and those damn solar panels that India and China are just building absolutely every day to destroy the banking cabal. I love it. It is the best thing that ever happened to silver. Nobody in the silver industry is barely talking about it above a whisper. The Silver Institute had to hide what was really going on in their annual silver report, so they literally had to report 1/2 of the silver used in photovoltaics. They reported 193. It's closer to 400 million ounces. And they know it, and I warned them beforehand. I said, you guys are in trouble. How are you going to do this? And so every red box there, they changed the dollar amount. Or the ounces amount. They changed the history to fake stuff. And they try to come on and do a podcast a little later saying, as the market changes, as we find out more information, sometimes we'll change a historical number. Well, you changed all the historical numbers. Would you find out something new that happened in 2015 in the other industrial category, which made you go change it? All these red boxes are changed numbers. This is fraud. That is illegal as well. You're misrepresenting on purpose to mislead investors and industry personnel, industry people. It should be illegal. Metals Focus is an English-based company. It might not be illegal in English law, but the Silver Institute is not. They're Washington, D.C. based, and there's 2 guys. So Mike Dorenzo should be investigated, along with there's another guy over there. The head of Hecla is the CEO. Like about a month before these numbers came out, he said there was going to be over 300 million ounces used in photovoltaics, and it came in at 293. How do you justify that? So people need to call these people to the mat and say, why are you lying? Why are you hiding the truth? Why are you misleading people so that silver's being misallocated into industrial solar panels? And this is not going to look good for them. It's not going to look good for the United States of America, and everything's about to fall apart. I hope you guys are ready. Get your physical silver in your own possession. This is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you later.